So as you can see, I've got my base on, brows, lashes, that's about it. The first thing I'm going to do is go in and build my smoky eyes. Now, Paula, you'd asked me for eyeshadow for crepey eyes. You said that creams felt a bit uncomfortable. And Lorraine, you'd asked me for a nice smoky eye for hooded eyes. This is going to be perfect for you. This is the Mercier Caviar stick in Burnished Bronze. I did a masterclass with them on Friday, just gone, for the John Lewis Beauty Festival, and I used this. And when I used to work at Selfridges, I would always beeline for this. Now, this kind of colour, I'm going to take it all over the lid while I explain. This kind of 2p piece colour, which is fundamentally a brown with a bit of coppery warmth through it, it makes every eye colour pop. Now, it can almost look a little bit plummy even. But what I'm going to do with this, first of all, is take it all over the lid. And you see where my eye naturally drops? It's kind of hidden in there. What we need to do is push it upwards. Now, just to show you how easy this is, I'm going to use my finger. I'm really gently pushing that edge upwards. Like, how nice is that? It's blended in seconds, nice and soft and smoky. And ultimately what we want to do is do that and repeat it until it's as bright as we like. Now, you'll notice I did one eye at a time. The great thing about these sticks, they're really easy to blend when you first put them on, but then once they've dried, they're not going anywhere. And so what you also need to consider is that you need to blend it quite quickly once it's gone on. Otherwise, it's going to get more difficult to do so. So again, all over the lid, and you can see by comparing the two, a bit of the density of the colour might dilute once you have, oh gosh, I've taken that too high. This is the beauty, look how easy that was to remove. It can dilute a little bit once you've buffed it out. So what you want to do is go back in after that first blend and build that colour up again. And look at that. Now, I know you'd said, Paula, that you feel like creams are a bit uncomfortable. And I think depending on the cream that you use, they definitely can be. This would be one of my suggestions of a cream that's lovely and easy to work with, that sits well through the day. I always laugh, like, if you think, let's say, for example, on Friday, there was, I think it was about 250 people at this masterclass. For your own nerves, you need to make sure what you're using can't go wrong. You know, I wouldn't risk using something that I didn't think was brilliant. And it's, the proof is in the pudding, really, isn't it? Just how quickly you're able to create a nice smoky eye using this stick. Now, I'm going to actually take this under the eye as well. Really, this kind of colour, I think I've got a bit in that inner corner. I can always tidy that up afterwards. This kind of colour will really make every eye colour pop, whether it's blue, green, hazel, brown, even kind of a grey. So you want to get it everywhere that it's going to come into contact with that eye colour, which includes under the eye as well. And this will give you the maximum kind of colour pop. I'm going to use a small brush for under the eye because my finger might make it a bit too thick. And I'm just going to buff that right the way across. Really simple. Looking forward on, I'm going to intensify near the lash line. I'm keeping an eye on the time. And then I'm not going to mess about too much. I'm going to keep it really simple and quick today so that you can see, you know, now that the rules are changing, maybe you go into your friend's garden, something like that, you can be ready really quickly. I'm going to take the Mercier Espresso Liner and just line the waterline as well. Let me look into a mirror actually so I can do this nice and clearly. There we go. And the nice thing with the espresso as well is that it's also a brown, so it's not as harsh as the black, but it still gives you that nice definition. Now there's a little mark there that was driving me a bit mad. It seems to have gone. Okay, now the next things I've written down are all about blush and bronze and things like that. So Amy, you had asked me just to show you the difference in the colours between the Peaches Cream Contour and the Trini Genster. So the Trini Genster is slightly lighter and the Cream Contour is a slightly kind of warmer undertone as well. I am going to use the Peaches today, and I'm going to just put, in fact, let me take a nice fluffy-ish brush. There we go. I'm going to take my Complexion Perfection brush from Peaches, and I'm going to take this bronze round the kind of outer frame of the face. Now, another thing I wanted to show you today, there's been a real increase recently, I've noticed, in these skin tints coming onto the market. So rather than a full foundation, it's like a lot of things are launching now that are more like, it's almost a glossier version of a tinted moisturiser, and they're really designed to give glow. So they're very, very luminous. They're as sheer in coverage as a tinted moisturiser, but they really will add luminosity. Now, I think they're absolutely lovely. It's a beautiful kind of skin and highlighter hybrid. But what I would really say is important to consider is that they might not be necessarily suitable for all over the face, and you might get best results if you just take them in certain places. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to use something like that to highlight and just show you, especially if you wear maybe like a matte foundation and you just want something to add a bit of luminosity. They're really lovely without being glittery to do that. I'm just going to take, by the way, while I'm here, having a little look at myself, desperately need some setting powder just down the centre of the face. It's funny, isn't it? It's just the way the sun is, because it actually looks fine in real life, but on the camera here I feel very, very shiny. Okay, so bronzer has just been kind of pressed on. Let me just double check here. Audra, you had asked me how best to apply your blusher and bronzer and things like that if you've got rosacea. Just soft, gentle taps rather than rubbing it in will make such a difference. If you can get into this habit, you're pressing your coverage on rather than rubbing it all over the place, and you'll notice that it builds more coverage and the coverage lasts really well. And I'll show you that with blusher in just a moment. But first of all, I'm going to quickly go into these skin tints. So I've got a few here to show you. There's the Becca Light Shifter, the Ciate Dewy Skin. The Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter isn't new, but it's really popular on TikTok at the moment. So in case you've been looking at that one, I thought I would show you. Ciate Dewy Skin is really good if you want a completely glass-like finish. It's shiny, but not shimmery. Whereas your Charlotte Tilbury and your Becca are shimmery. They're very luminous, glowy. I might just do one on one side and one on the other to show you. So this is Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in the shade 3. And again, I'm going to actually press this in rather than rubbing it round. You can even see where I've got some redness there and this is lifted. Not this necessarily, but the foundation is lifted from where I'm pressing things in. See how that isn't glittery, but it's just a bit of a glow. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. This is the Ciate Dewy Skin in 030. And Hannah Martin has used this in a number of videos recently. So if you want to see how this one looks, definitely head over to Hannah. But this one is like that natural luminosity. You just look like you've got a glow to the skin. It doesn't even necessarily look like makeup. Whereas that one's more pearly. Do you see? So I'm pressing those in. I'm going to take the excess of the Ciate. My face looks really flat, doesn't it? I think it's just the lighting. I think a bit of blusher will sort this out as well. I'm going to take the Darling Nars Air Matte Blusher. I might actually do this with my hand. Now, blusher, Audra, if you're thinking about rosacea, again, pressing it on rather than rubbing it in will enable you to build the colour and gently press it in to where you want it to be. And you can see there, that is so soft. The nice thing actually with these Nars matte blushes is if you've got texture in your skin, because they are matte, they're not going to shine anywhere that you're trying to avoid drawing attention to, like a textured area. And already, isn't it funny? A tiny bit of blusher on that complexion feels much softer than it did a minute ago. It felt very, what was the word? Like full a minute ago. There we go. Nice and glowy and fresh. Now, literally this video is like bingo of all the questions that have come in, but because it's been a while since I did a video, I always write down if you ask me a question in a book. And so today I was like, oh, I haven't done a video in ages. There's been loads of questions building up and I'm going to try and include as many of them. So Diane, you asked me how to sharpen your no-tug liner from It Cosmetics. So if you've got any kind of twist-up liner, especially the It Cosmetics ones, have a little look at the bottom because you've got a sharpener there. Now, I find for best results, you want to twist quite a bit of the pencil up and then use your little sharpener and it will get a really precise finish for you. But it actually works best if you've got loads of it up the way. And then look, you've shaved all of that off. You've got a nice precise line. I'm just going to go in with lip liner in Buff Nude. So, Buff Nude is on. Now I'm going to go in with the Pillow Lip Solid Serum. This is the shade Wistful. Honestly, if you like your It Cosmetics, this is one of the nicest launches we've ever done. There's a video on the It Cosmetics page of all of them. I did like a one by one showing you all the colours. Absolutely gorgeous. Wait till you see this. They're just so comfortable. It's like the exact comfort of a lip balm, but with a little bit of colour to it. And it's just enough that if you're having a cup of tea or not really keeping an eye on your makeup, it won't go everywhere. It's not going to be on your teeth, but it's just really hydrating and a nice pop of colour. They're absolutely lovely. So that is just about me done. I hope that was helpful. Try those suggestions. In particular, when you're looking at the hooded eye tips, just go a little bit higher than where the natural crease is. If I kind of frown now, you can see that when I open my eyes, I've taken that colour a bit higher up so that even when you're in that kind of resting face, you're going to be able to see the colour. Let me know anything that you want to see a video in the comments and I'll get back to you. And yeah, I'll chat to you soon. Have a nice evening.